Hi, my name is Rachel Delk. I am a Paper Pie brand partner. You can find me on Facebook and on YouTube at Rachel's Book Nook. And today I want to tell you a little bit about Lift the Flap books, okay? When my son was born, I did not love Lift the Flaps. I was like, they're just going to get torn up. We had some, they got torn up. Um, my kid was kind of rough with books. He was a late reader, and I loved to read, so we always had books around. But we didn't really do a good job of taking care of our Lift the Flap books, and so I was like, why in the world would we have Lift the Flap books? Lift the Flap books are not for us. Well, then I had some other kids, and I joined Paper Pie, and I really saw the quality of our Paper Pie Lift the Flat books, and I saw the value in them. And so, Lift the Flat books, I'm going to start with some of our Lift the Flat books for little. These are so engaging. They're beautiful, they're brightly colored. We have so many different ones with Paper Pie. And the ones for our littles have really big flaps, which is really good as kids are starting to use their hands. And make the pointing, use just one finger at a time. Can they do that? Plus, this one is fun. This one is a bit more nonfiction about busy bees, but then we also have some hide and seek ones with some really big flaps again. So the big flaps are really good for littles as they're learning to use their hands. And something else I like to tell parents, which is not something I thought of when my kiddos were little, was you can have just mom and me books, which are books that you read with mom, or you read with dad, or you read with auntie, whoever. You read them with someone, and you cannot have them just whenever you want. So you have them up on a big shelf where they can't reach them, but when you want to read, you sit down and you read together. That is so good for connection. It helps keep the books really, really special, and it helps them learn, okay, this is a book and we're going to take care of it, which then transfers to all of their other toys and all their other books. It's good to learn to take care of your stuff. And so if you have littles and you were like me and you're like, no, Lift the Flat books, make it a mom and me book, or make it a dad and me book, or make it a special connection time book where we read this together. We look at it together. It's not something that you can have just all the time. And then for your older kids, as they're getting a little bit older but not super older, I love the Peek Inside series. So this is Peek Inside a Fairy Tale. We have Beauty and the Beast. This is the Nutcracker. We have Little Red Riding Hood, Goldilocks, Cinderella. These are just beautiful, beautiful books. And what I love about these is sometimes it's less flaps and more of these interactive windows. And the books, again, are just beautiful. These have fewer flaps, and these folk tales are based usually on the original, so they might be slightly different than the Disney movie. And there's just less there, or less flaps. And so these might be a better option for like your preschoolers, maybe kids who are maybe a little more destructive, but again, it's still engaging. It's still holding your attention, if I can get my fingers to work. They're just really beautiful books. We have Peek Inside the Farm, which is really fun. Again, you have these little interactive windows, a few flaps, not a ton. And these are really informative books. We also have, this one goes with our Peek Inside collection. So on the farm goes with the Peek Inside collection. So you've got zoo, animal homes, nighttime, dinosaur, garden. I just love these. They're very sturdy. I really like the windows. I think they're beautiful books. And of course you have, as a collection, they are cheaper. And then for older kids, I love Lift the Flat books for kids who aren't readers. So one of my daughters went through a whole season of loving bugs. Bug Hotel is super fun. It's a nonfiction book. We have some of these smaller flaps, which as you get smaller flaps for older kids, again, it helps keep them engaged. It's helping them to be really interactive with the book and pay attention, helps hold their attention better. So if you have a kid who's not super good at focusing on something, Lift the Flat books might be the answer. And it also is working on hand strength. So as kids are starting to get ready to write, hand strength is really important. And so it works on finger dexterity, the ability to manipulate the page in a way that's a little bit different than just turning pages. So Bug Hotel there at the end then tells you how to make your own Bug Hotel, and we've done this at our house. So this one is really fun. And then for like older elementary, middle school, even high school, we have Lift the Flat books, and I am just so excited about that. So my son loves the Solar System one. There's Strongest, Cleverest, Deadliest, Fiercest, Hottest, Loudest, Smelliest, and Weirdest. If this one is not for a teenage boy, who knows who it's for? You know, like this one is so fun. It's so interesting, and I've learned some things that I never knew I needed to know, you know, so that one's fun. Questions and answers. How does it work? We also have question and answers about animals. We have so many different ones. Look inside wild weather. If you have a kiddo who wants to know how the weather works, who's really interested in that, these books are beautiful, and the page is covered with flaps. There are so many flaps on this page, like so many. And so another tip about Lift the Flat books is that if you have one that's not a narrative, maybe it's a more nonfiction book, you can read a page or two and then be done. You can have a kiddo who doesn't like to read a full book all in one sitting, and that's okay. They can read a little bit and walk away and come back later. So that's another really interesting way to use these Lift the Flat books, is you can read them little by little. It makes the book last a little bit longer. It helps keep them engaged for a period of days rather than minutes, you know, and they can always go back. They can turn through their favorite page and spend some time there, or they can flip through and find something else they're interested in. So Lift the Flat books are good for 1 or 2 pages at a time. Often I will use these at bedtime when we are crunched for time. And I'll be able, okay, we're doing this one, we're only reading 2 pages. Let's get it done. Rather than, okay, everybody pick a book and we're going to be here for at least 20 minutes, you know. I also love all of our feelings books. This has been really good with my son to help recognize feelings in others, and also helping one of my daughters in particular know what to do with her feelings that feel so big. So I love the Lift the Flat books. So who are the Lift the Flat books for? We have Lift the Flat books all the way for littles, like just learning how to use their hands, all the way up through high schoolers. Lift the Flat books are good for kids who aren't readers. Like I said, they can look at a page or two, they can find one that they are really, really interested in and spend some time with it. They're really good for like building dexterity, all that good stuff. And then also, it's okay to have books that are for just mom and me connection time, especially for littles. But then also, these are great hangout books for bigger kids. So what do I mean by that? I mean, like you just put it on their shelf. Wait for them to notice that it's there. Let them look through it when they want to. It's a really good way to encourage reading without pushing reading. So they can look at it when they want to. They can look at it a few minutes before bedtime, and then they can be done for a while. So this is really good for all kinds of kids. This is really good for kids who have really honed interest in a certain topic. And it's also really good for just broad information, just random facts that they can just kind of hold on to. So Lift the Flat books are good for like pretty much any kid. So check out our website. We have so many. It's under the New and Now. We have our spotlight on flat books. And so be sure to check it out.